This isn't the best place. It's really dark. And my face is huge. Oh, that's awesome. Salud. What else? We can slide that around. Yeah, we can totally slide it around. Figure it out. Huh? Oh, you gotta hook it together. Yeah, okay. Dude, that thing, I told you this thing was gonna be way bigger than. Yeah, look against the corner there. Thank you so much. Oh, geez, man. Thank you guys. You guys are freaking geniuses.
Oh, is the rest of the stuff on there?
Your feet. You have every failure that you
All right.
God bless you guys. Take 15 minutes for the service. All right?
Thank you.
All the way to the wall. Put stuff on there. I like that where it's at. I think it was really Thank you, guys. Did they give you a copy?
I just signed, no. I just signed the thing. There was no like copy, it was all on your little iPad. Here, let me bring this back inside.
All right. Let me put this on.
Hi.
How are you, Cassandra?
Very well. How are you?
I'm well. Obviously, I'm not Jill.
I know. I was just like, Jill, you changed your hair a lot.
I changed everything.
Wow.
She's really sick, so I'm filling in for her. So yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sending my love.
Yeah. She got struck pretty late yesterday with a stomach bug, and
Oh, boo.
yeah. So
Boo,
we're
boo.
sending lots of love.
Yes. Well, good. I'm kind of glad I have you like alone right now. We can chat where no one's here.
Yeah, we're recording, but that's okay.
Huh?
It's being
What?
recorded.
Oh, well, you know.
But it's okay.
Anyway, yeah, it's about this. So, you know, I'm really the facelifting has really like taken off over here. It's so exciting, the energy facelifts, but I'm going to be practicing it remotely. You know what I mean? Then the next couple days, I've got a few clients and people I'm practicing on it remotely. So I'm really like, you know, the marketing factor as far as like this network, you know what I mean? So I might have to like get with you guys and maybe spend, you know, maybe we can try to help with my marketing plan. If I need to be doing something a little different with this or so anyway.
Well, and I would say, like, even today, like at the end where you're doing the ask, if you want to just let people know, who do you know who might like an energy facelift? Hi, Joe.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
I need some lipstick. Hey,
my.
where's your
I was gonna
lipstick?
say, oh, where's your lipstick?
Thank you.
You're most welcome. How are you today, Joe?
I couldn't be any better.
Awesome. Well, you could be in Jamaica.
Well, that's true. That's true. This is the next best thing.
So obviously I'm not Jill. she got a stomach bug.
Uh-oh.
So I'm playing her this morning
Oh.
and myself. If you want to put your names and email addresses in the chat box, Jill will know who was here. We're a few minutes early, so we can hang out. I'm going to pull a card. Hey, Cassandra, let's you and I schedule a one-on-one after this. I'll email you and we'll get it set up. That. Good morning, Mary Beth, Margaret. I was going to say Mary Margaret. I have an aunt, Mary Margaret.
Well, that's actually my name.
Yeah, I channeled that.
I wonder if my mom's here. My mom's name is Mary Margaret as well.
Wow. Good Catholic name. Good Catholic name. Hi.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Good morning.
Obviously, I'm not Jill. She got felled by a stomach virus late yesterday, so I'm filling in for her. You guys want to just take a few minutes and type in your names and email addresses. She'll know who to send the recording to.
Thinking that's going around, but she's in Florida and I'm in Virginia. How is that possible?
Yeah, because you were sick Monday.
Yeah, I was.
I will tell you. I'll tell you how that's possible because all of the Northerners are here in Florida, bringing their various flus and diseases and things and sharing with very openly and grocery stores and Walgreens and CVS and
For all the Northern Virginians, I apologize right now. And my relatives up in New York State, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
but we're thankful they're here because they add to the economy.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started. So I know Connie usually pops on toward the end, and I don't know of anyone who isn't coming, but we'll go ahead and get started. Obviously, I'm not Jill, but so I'm just going to do the little, this morning's matinee performance will be, Jill Celeste will be played by Debbie Keenan. And so what we'll do is go ahead and put your names and email addresses in the chat box if you haven't done so already. And we'll go ahead and get started. What we'll do is go around in my little screen and we'll do our 30-second infomercial. And I'll just call on people. And then we'll have a presentation by Joe Biba from Creators of Hope. He's like super early for him. He's in Wisconsin. So.
That's like 7.
And Jennifer, she's not there, you can see her board. She was from Wisconsin, Joe. I had a one-on-one with her yesterday. Okay, so Joe, you're up here in the left, so you get to go first. And you can do Creators of Hope, or you can do your other lovely gig.
Well, I'm gonna talk about the other gig, so I'll mention this one. I am doing blue collar coaching, where we're helping folks with their financial, making sure that they're not struggling financially and helping them reach their goals in their business.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. I'm next. I'm not going to do Jill, but I'll do my own. I'm Debbie Keevan, and I'm outside of Baltimore, where we had snow and ice 2 days ago, and yesterday was in the 50s. I left my house without a coat. It was amazing. So I am a writer, editor, and storyteller, and I really work with change makers to identify their core messages and whom they're serving, to help them get their message out in their blogs and books and in speaking. Jennifer's next, but she's locus imparento, so we'll go to Mary Beth. Did I mute you? I can unmute you. Nope. I can't. You can do it.
Okay, sorry. I clicked a button I should have just left alone. I never learn. Mary Beth Decker, I have the most interesting ability that I didn't know I was going to have, and that is to be able to connect and communicate with animals. And that gives me the lovely ability also is to help you connect and communicate with your animals. And people, actually this week, I communicated with a little miniature pinscher named Brutus Maximus, or is it Maximus? Only big name, little dog. He's 15. He's having some hard health issues, and his person wanted to know if he was ready to go. And he said, we found out that he had a little bit of a scare when he lost the rest of his eyesight. But we reminded, she had, and I reminded him that he's still got his ears, he's got his nose, which is fantastic on dogs. And he just let us know that, yeah, he's not feeling like a 2-year-old dog, but he's ready to stick around. So that was really wonderful. So I do things like that. Mary Beth Decker, and I'm with sacredgrove.com. Thank you.
And you're in Alexandria, right?
I am, and same ditto on the snow warmth economy.
Right. Thank you, Mary Beth. Margaret.
Good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you from very hot and humid sunny Florida. It's 100% humidity, but I will take it when compared to some of the other weather in the world. I work with folks to help them transform and change their negative self-talk so that they can uncover their passions, they can attain their goals, and live an abundant and fulfilling life. In the corporate world and in companies, I provide workshops to help people create cohesive teams and get through the conflict, understand the conflict, reduce that, and help people have a higher self-esteem so the company and all of those are working cohesively and having a great time. Margaret Martin at margaretmartin.com.
Wonderful. Susan, not Rose.
Well, it's still Rose. You can call me whatever you want. My name is Susan Rose, the SusanRose.net, and I am a copywriter and content coach, content strategist, and I help coaches and solopreneurs figure out how to nurture relationships with their ideal clients through the written word and the written communications that they are putting out there.
Wonderful. And you're in Virginia.
I'm in Virginia. Yes, I'm in Reston, Virginia, not far from Mary Beth.
The other Susan.
And the other Susan.
Well, good morning. I'm Susan Shelton. I'm also from Virginia. I'm in Alexandria. And I'm kind of in between the Reston and Mount Vernon area where Mary Beth is. So, but I am a wellness coach. I don't sound it today because this wild weather is just giving me a head cold. But I am using my training as a health coach, specifically in the low glycemic area, helping people keep their blood sugars at a normal range. I did that for a number of years. I have 10 years of on-the-job training in gluten-free eating when my husband was diagnosed with celiac disease. And so I've incorporated that into how I help people. And a number of years ago, I aligned with, I was always known as a health nut, ate right, and did all the things you should do to be the healthy person. But it made a difference when I stumbled on a company called USANA Health Sciences, which is a nutritional, science-based nutrition company that provides supplements and food products and skincare. I saw such a remarkable difference that what I've done is combined all my training and all of my experience, along with what I've learned on the importance of nutritional supplementation to help people live a healthier life.
Wonderful. Thank you. Hannah Broter.
Hello. Good morning. I am Hannah Broter from yourbrandvision.com. I am a graphic designer and visual brand manager. I make logos and websites and newsletters and social media graphics and PowerPoint and keynote presentations and every other visual touch point you need with visual consistency. So I help entrepreneurs find and visualize their unique greatness and attract their ideal clients. And I want to thank everyone who was my launch partners this week for my book. I haven't been able to come back to you in a decent way because yesterday I left my new home in Norway at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch a plane to go to the other side of our country, the West Coast, to teach. I shouldn't have done that. I found that out later, but it was a great day, and I will get back to you when I have sort of landed mentally as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Hannah. That's great. Cassandra.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Marie. My business is Surrounded by Energy, and I do energy healing for body, mind, and environment. And I've been specializing in energy facelifts, and they've been so profound. It's so amazing. You know, I loved the healing. I became a healer to heal myself, and there were so many different things I loved about energy healing. But when I started doing these energy facelifts, the women have just bawling while I'm taking out these wrinkles and the emotional shifts because, and the bags, because this is all emotions in there. So it's just been so fun, so profound, and so amazing. And I can't wait for all of you to be able to try it. And I'd like to offer everyone, you know, a free 30-minute consultation, and just check it out. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cassandra. Nancy Lenaruth, it's like crack of morning.
Yes, yes, it is. I'm hiding away so I don't wake up my daughter who complained last time. So I'm doing it right this time. But I'm Nancy Lenaruth, unblockresults.com. I am a procrastination coach and an EFT or tapping specialist. And people come to me to get rid of the subconscious stuff that keeps them from creating the life they're meant to live. And so I think I'm supposed to tell you about my ideal client or today, who am I looking for? And well, I just love working with somebody who's got a mission, a purpose. And yet, honestly, they've been telling everyone for years, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to do something. And yet they just aren't doing it. So I'm going to change that job. And yet they're still in it years later. I'm going to move to a nice warm place. No, I haven't done it for years, or some things like that. So Nancy Lenaruth, unblockresults.com.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Kelly Ludman.
I thought I clicked it, but good morning. I'm Kelly Lutman with Pursue Wellness for You. I'm a health coach and functional medicine practitioner who works with people struggling with chronic disease. Their doctor has said, you'll be on this medication for the rest of your life, just live with it. And yet, if I can work with them and find those root causes and support the body in healing that, because the body can recover amazingly when you give it what it needs. I have clients one client that had IBS for over 50 years, who within 2 months work is free from it. And she said, you just don't understand what that means to me. So working with patients in cancer treatment, working with patients after cancer treatment, whatever your chronic disease, it usually can be reversed. Medicine doesn't tell you that, but it can. And so I delight in helping people pursue wellness for them, for life, because health is wealth.
Welcome, Kelly. Thank you. Jennifer, you've got to unmute yourself. There you go.
You couldn't hear me. I said thank you. Thanks for having me again. This is my second visit, and I enjoyed last time. And I've been working a little bit on my presenting who the heck I am. So I feel I should switch into the healing field. That's everybody's doing such exciting work there. But I am a digital and social media marketer, and I work primarily with realtors. I find a lot of the tactics and skills can translate to any number of industries. So if anybody has any questions at any time, please reach out. But I think everybody kind of knows what the digital marketing field entails. So I can work with your social media platforms. I can work on your newsletter, your blog, any type of business writing you might have. But my main focus is realtors.
Wonderful. Excellent.
Thank you.
And I'll do Connie Joe's, I'll do a poor attempt at Connie Joe's magnificent elevator pitch. Connie Joe is outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and she is a bookkeeper and money guide. She helps entrepreneurs and individuals really unlock the challenges that are their money. She keeps their books absolutely spotless, and she does it with a great sense of humor and a lot of fun. She finds it fascinating to untangle the tangliest books. So if you know of anyone looking for a bookkeeper, Connie Joe is amazing. Okay, so if you haven't, while I do Joe's introduction, if you haven't already done so, would you go into the chat box and enter your name and email address? So that's how we take attendance. And then I'm going to do an introduction for Joe, so bear with me. Okay, so let me just see here. I've got several. Losing a newborn son when he was a young man taught Joe Biba a painful lesson in life's frailty and situations beyond his control. The experience shaped Joe both as a man and as a leader. He was further changed after a 2011 mission trip to repair and build homes in Jamaica for indigent families. He founded Creators of Hope based upon the belief that no one ought to have to choose between whether to buy food for her family or to keep a roof over their heads. As a construction industry expert and blue-collar coach, he brings vast, practical, and detailed construction knowledge as well as strategy, vision, and leadership to Creators of Hope. And so bear with me again because I'm going to run. Do you want me to do the video now, Joe?
Sure.
Okay. I've got to get it on my screen. Hang on. Now I've got to pull it up on you guys. Share my screen. All right, can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. Here we go.
Just couldn't bear the thought of people living in poverty and children sold into slavery. The thought disgusted me, so I shook my fist.
You're gonna.
Sounds like you. I created you. Listen. If I understand you, if not me and you, right now, it's time for us to do something. Yeah. If not now, then when will we see it end all this pain? Oh, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. Yeah, it's easier to say than to be. Live like angels of apathy who tell ourselves it's alright, somebody else will do something. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of life with no desire. I don't want to flame, I want to fire. I want to be the one who stands up and says, I'm gonna do something. If not us, then who? If not me and you, right now, it's time for us to do something. Come on. If not now, then when will we see it end all this pain? Oh, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. We are the salt of the earth. We're a city on the hill. You're never gonna change the world by standing still. No, we won't stand still. No, we won't stand still. No, we won't stand still. No, us and you. If not me and you, right now, it's time for us to do something. Will we see it end all this pain? It's not enough to do.
Okay, you want the presentation now, Joe?
In just a minute. First, I just want to say thanks for the warm welcome. Didn't realize you were going to say what you said, which was very nice and kind. And Debbie always has a way of making people feel better, by all means. But anyhow, so jumping right in, yes, Debbie, if you can pull up the first slide, I'll explain a little bit, or show you, I guess, why it is that we do what we do. As you know, and if many of you have ever traveled to another country, such as Jamaica, there are lots of things that you don't see if you don't get off of the resorts, of which we have the advantage of not only seeing, but getting the opportunity to see how they live, and that just being a part of that is very touching to one's heart. The next page will show you, this is not one of the projects that we worked with this year. However, there was, I can happily say there was a gentleman that lived in that structure right there. That that was his home. And as we show and look at the inside of this, you'll see that this, you know, as I entered the place, I mean, I'm not a small guy, but I'm not the biggest guy either. But as I walked across this floor, every step I was wondering if I was going to go through the floor. And this is what he lived in and day out. So just to give you a little idea, on the picture on the left there, that black thing hanging from the top, that's actually a tarp because his roof was leaking. Underneath that is his bed, of which, you know, of course, then he's got like clotheslines draped across there to dry his clothes, you know, for when they do washing. On the right was a collection of items that he used to cook with, bring food home in with, what have you. Might be a few items there that probably don't belong, but we all have that. But this is what he called home. And what I'd like to do next in the next page is introduce you to a couple of little girls that we had the opportunity to meet, spend time with, and help their situation. Jada there on the left with the yellow, she was a really sweet little girl. She was an extremely smart little girl, and her mom did everything that she could to send her to a special school because she's so smart. Now, take into consideration that if growing up in a situation or a household similar to the pictures that we just saw, and then try to be a straight A student, the pressure that could have and involvement in, you know, the making the grades and being who you want to become, and putting everything you can towards it. Chevanese on the right there, she was one of 5 children along with her mother. And the interesting part about this young lady is that she was actually adopted. When she was born, her mother split, and soon after her dad passed away. So Shauna, her mother, took her in. She already had 4 kids of her own. She did not have a place to go, so she took her in. And her mother is an absolute icon in my eyes. She's a great mother. She works hard, and they sleep on a double bed, all 5 of them, crossways, so that they had a place to sleep. Her home that she lived in she was renting this little area, basically just big enough to hold this double bed that they always sleep in crosswise. But you know, to give some introduction, a lot of people, a lot of questions that I get asked are, how are these people found and chosen? And I have connections down there who, as anywhere, you know, if you think about it in your own area, you know, or have an idea of the people in your area, who's in the most dire need of help, or you can soon find out. So I depend on these people that I met. They're fantastic people, have my total trust in who they choose and pick. This year, when we went down, they asked, you know, how many projects we could do, and I explained to them, oh, you know, of course we want to do as many as we can, but we ended up doing 5 homes for families over the course of the 2 weeks. I had the honor of each week I had 10 individuals, which Debbie had joined me and took a lot of the photos and stuff for me. But the problem was that we did 5, they had 12 on the list. So taking into consideration the homes of which these people are living in, or not living in, the one gentleman that we built for the first week, he was actually sleeping out behind the church because he had nowhere to go. To say that he was excited when we were able to hand him over some keys for his new home, doesn't even begin to express his gratitude, which is the other side of it. These people are so gracious, or the gratitude they share once they have something is unbelievable. So that's a little bit how we go about our site selection. I do have expectations of them, because I'm a little bit on the feeling of not just giving people the fish. I want to teach them to fish, and then they have a little more appreciation for what they have. So our requirements to receive the house once they're selected is that they actually build the base themselves. They take cinder blocks, they build a square level base, put concrete down, and then we can build on top of that. And so if they don't do that or can't figure out a way to do that, unfortunately, then they don't get a home. But I'm here to tell you that everybody that I've ever had the pre-trip with, they definitely had the home ready or the foundation ready once we arrived and were ready to work. Another solid question I get all the time is, how do we build these things? What do we build with as far as tools and whatnot? And because there's in many places no electricity, no plumbing, maybe just a spigot out by the road that they can get water to do their laundry in. We take all of our own tools. We take all battery operated tools, and once we get working on it, I always tell the crew, I says, if you can wear the batteries out before the day is over, then we're done. So it's my job to keep strong batteries there, so that unfortunately they can't leave until we have a good day. But we have a lot of fun while there as well. It's not just all work. I definitely encourage meeting the families, spending a little time with them, playing with them. We have pictures of with Chavanice on the right there, her blowing bubbles, which was heart-wrenching just because it's something she's never been able to do before. Sorry. But to also give you a little example, when and as you've seen in the video, didn't probably get a great example of it, but the homes that we build these people, if you think about your home, now I guess I'm going to challenge you to think about, shrinking that down. Let's look at just the size of your bedroom. A typical home is 12 feet by 14 feet. And that is what they reside in. That is their home. Many times they do their cooking outside, whether it be, I've seen where they have stoves, but I've also seen them cooking over an open fire as well. It's just amazing how happy these folks are with as little as they have. And when we can bless them with a little bit more, the gratitude is really strong. Materials is another question I get a lot of questions around. Do you haul them down? Do you take stuff? Do you have it shipped? No, actually there are lumber yards and suppliers in the area, of which we like to put money into the area as much as we can. So it just makes common sense that, and it's a lot less work for me to try and figure out how to get these materials down there to build the homes that we build. And it's just the feelings of, one story I'll share with you is a few years ago on a Sunday morning, we were having a little gathering where we were staying, and a couple walked into the gates, and it was one of those situations where I was saying to myself, I know I should know these folks, but I can't place them just because I've met so many at this point. And of course, they walked right up to me and wanted to know, call me by name, ask me how I'm doing, et cetera, et cetera. And then she proceeded to ask me, she says, well, when are you leaving? And I don't remember exactly. I said like Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was. And instantly her facial expression changed. She was very sad. It was just very easy to see that something was going on. So I asked her, I said, well, what's up? And she says, well, I know you didn't build us a house. She says, you just repaired our roof and put on a new roof for us last year. But she says, for what you did for us, she says, we really wanted to repay you. And that's not why I go on these trips, is for repayment. But of course, you know, well, let's just continue. And she says, well, I wanted to give you a chicken, but it won't be ready yet. And I would be lying if I didn't first thought come to mind is, what the heck am I going to do with the chicken? But thankfully I had enough sense to come around and say, well, I'll tell you what, do this for me, is when the chicken is ready, give it to my friend here and he'll disperse of it in some way that can use it. Because another thing that happens down there is, on an average, a family will spend, or the mother who does the cooking will spend 8 hours every day trying to figure out and come up with their next meal. So, and many times they might only eat the one meal a day. So we always were happy to pack extra sandwiches and stuff when we go out to the job site and share with whoever's there. Just because it's that little bit you can do. As much as you'd love to stay there and do it every day, that they, you know, that's their culture, and they figure it out, and they live, and they have the smiles that them two little girls right there have on their face every day. So, you know, we are, as the organization, we are growing. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. Actually, after coming home from this trip of doing the 2 weeks with 2 groups, we could potentially do 3 and possibly even 4 trips this next year, of which, of course, always comes down to, because we're fairly new, you know, funds are always an issue, because it does cost about $3,000, give or take, to build one of these homes on our perspective. And I guess, you know, I would always invite anyone, first of all, if they would love to have the experience, because that's part of it, is that part of the reason I started the organization was to create the experience of being able to go and do hands-on, to get the warm fuzzies. In fact, I was having a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and I said, you know, I've done a lot of things over the years, always kind of searching for that thing that filled up my heart. And it just seemed like no matter how many things I went and did or what I did, I still went home with that empty spot. And for me personally, this is the one thing that really seems to fill that up. And we all have the options and opportunities to, there's great organizations all over the world where we can donate funds to. And we do that, and I do that, not just my own, but you know, we would invite anyone that would like to have that option or opportunity to join us on a trip. And as you've seen in the video, you don't have to have any pre-qualifications, age, gender, it doesn't matter, everyone is welcome. We're actually looking at doing a straight women's group. I had one of the trip goers had asked about that, of which I said I'd be happy to accommodate and figure it out. But, you know, and like I say, it's in order to grow as the organization and do more of this and help more individuals out. We're always open for and have opportunities to give, whether that be of your time, talents, or treasures. And we'd invite anyone to reach out and ask questions, find out more information, whatever you might have. But with that, I don't know if there's any questions for anyone that I didn't cover. I'd be happy to see what I can do.
Joe, thank you so much. That was, you know, I was there, but man, oh man, thank you. That was really awesome. Go ahead, Margaret.
So where do y'all stay when you're there? And what accommodations do you have, and how is the food provided for you?
So in the past, we used to stay, it was a whole different situation. So I'm just going to skip that. It wasn't near as pretty as what we had this year. This year, we actually, for several reasons, we made a change. We actually rented a house, like a 6-bedroom home, with the option of each like sleeping room had air conditioning in it, which we were actually on the ocean. So I don't think anybody used it too awful much. But we used to always be inland more. So we never, everybody says, well, jeepers, you go to Jamaica and you don't even see the ocean. And we didn't. I mean, other than when we flew in and flew out. So it was a choice we made as the organization to have that, available for people to be able to enjoy their stay there as well. As far as food, we actually have, they do have grocery stores, and with the individual that owns the home, you have the option of having their like chef or cook, housekeeper, groundskeeper, all on site to prepare things for you and do the shopping, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of like a hotel experience, but on a much more personal basis. Everybody got to know our cook very well, and she was a fabulous cook, and she took very good care of us.
That sounds great. I think that when you are doing work like that, and I've worked in St. Croix, and a whole different experience with with folks from an oil refinery when they were closing the refinery, but going all over the island as we did, because it's a small island, seeing some of the living conditions there and the hurricanes that they get and things like that. But it's nice that you were able to provide the folks there with it probably nourished their souls as well as they came home and had in the evening and had the beautiful experience of the water and the sunrise and things like that helps to continue to nourish your body and your soul as you're doing that work. So that's terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just an opportunity to build, community amongst ourselves as well, to sit around, have a little fun, enjoy the scenery, and get to know each other better, because the people come from all over. Debbie's from Maryland. A lot of times the people that have gone in the past have been local to me, but that is changing. And we had some friends from Italy join us as well. So it was, we're growing, and we've got big plans for the future.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
First of all, it's really inspiring work. I had a friend that did something similar, mission work, where they would go and build houses and schools, and kind of chokes you up. So thank you for making the world a better place. I've seen that firsthand as well. We went to Belize, and we decided not to go to the top area of Belize. We went to a secluded area because I wanted to get a feel for the real Belize, and it's very sad. They were all living like that as well. There had been a hurricane. I don't know. I think it was the one that was in '94. 10 years prior, they still hadn't rebuilt. It was just, but what I was wondering was, do you know what the heart of the problem is? Is it a corrupt government? Are there not enough jobs? Is there, the main issue? It can't even be changed, can it? It's so dependent on people giving them stuff as well, And I'll unmute. Thanks again.
Right. No, thank you. And yes, there are definitely the government has got a big issue to do with it, as well as jobs. Chavanise's mother, who we showed in the picture, her mother actually is a cook for the local preschool. And what they do there is they try to give as many people opportunity as they can. So they job share. So her and another woman alternate weeks of working. And the interesting part, and this just blows me away every time I even say it, is that she makes $40 US a week that she works. So in a month's time, she makes $80 US. And just to give you an example, things are not cheaper there than they are here. In many cases more expensive. I mean, a case of water, which we went through several, a case of water is $10.50, $11 for a case of water. Now, like our materials are basically, I've come home and priced them, and those are very equivalent to what we pay here. But there's so many things that it's so out of this world that it's crazy, and they can just never, they never have the opportunity to get ahead.
And interestingly, Joe has a relationship with a local Catholic priest, which is he in the past really helped identify families until we moved to this new area this year. And he said in the 20 years that he's been in Jamaica, he's never performed a wedding.
Yeah, they
Mostly
just
common law type
Yeah.
situations. And women are the breadwinners. Like 90% of the households are run by are women with children.
And when the guys do get an opportunity to work, in fact, the second gentleman, the bachelor that was staying behind the church, he came to me the day before we were supposed to start on his home, and he says, I know you're starting on mine tomorrow. He says, and I want to be there so bad, but he says, I have an opportunity to work, and I haven't eaten in 5 days. And it showed.
Yeah.
So of course, I said, you go do what you need to do. We will take care of this part of it. So it's, like I say, there's so much that you want to do, but it's tough. It's tough.
And Andrew, I was going to say, Andrew, the gentleman, the 5 days leading up to us building his house, and even the first day, he wore the same clothes. And they were, the same clothes. And then the day that he got the keys, he had fresh, clean clothes, like just so much pride in. And there were leftover materials. And what did he fill his house with so they wouldn't be stolen? He took all of the leftover materials and put them in his house until the truck from the lumberyard could come back. He had such care and such appreciation. But it took up 3/4 of his house, right, Joe? He had roofing materials, 2x4s, even bigger things. I don't even know what, but all of it, he would, until we had all that in the house, he was like, it's got to be locked up and kept safe. Like he had such responsibility and appreciation.
Well, it's even interesting that everything happens for a reason. And the day that we were finishing his house and going to give him the keys, the owner of the lumberyard, the supplier, she had sent, she probably made herself and sent a treat, a gift for us, a loaf of bread that she had made. I don't even know what kind it was because I didn't open it. It was just obvious that we didn't need it. So along with the keys, he got that as well. And so it just is, it's a huge blessing for me to be able to have found this and share the opportunity with all of the individuals that are willing to join us.
Anyone else? No. Thank you so much, Joe, for coming and sharing this story. Every time I even think about it, holy hell. It's a life-altering experience.
How did we get so lucky?
Right?
On this end, it blows my mind. It's so sad.
Every day.
And I think as an American, you think, how am I going to fix that? And the government, you can't fix that.
Okay.
So thanks again, Joe.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so let's go around and if you have any asks or if you have anything you want to offer up, ask us to look for you. I'll go backward this time. So Kelly, do you have anything you'd like to share?
No. Actually, if I can add a question for Joe, how do you recruit your teams?
Well, for starters, it was a lot of just individuals that I knew that I asked, and they joined me, and they just maybe got tired of me begging them to go with me. But once the interesting part is several of them have been back several years in a row. And then, you know, just talking and sharing about it. Lots of individuals are happy to go along. This year, I had the opportunity, my son-in-law went with me on Debbie's group, which was very cool that I got to share that experience with him as well. And, you know, and again, two years in a row, I had 2 Catholic nuns went with me who were 81 and 82 years old. And they had a blast. We had a blast. I figured out that the one was very competitive and did not like to lose at the game of spoons. Almost come back missing a finger. But, you know, so it's there is no age limit. It's mainly a desire of wanting to go and help and witness this experience for yourself. And as we grow with the Facebook, Creators of Hope Facebook page, our website, we're starting to reach corners of the world that we've got some other opportunity. Last fall when I did my pre-trip, I met a gentleman who lives in London that grew up in Africa. And he's like, would love to get you there. I says, give us a couple of years. So we'll get there.
Awesome. I'll have to be watching your Facebook page.
Wonderful. Nancy.
I don't really have an ask either, but I do have another question for Joe. Joe, do you ever have local people volunteer so that they can learn the tricks of the trade? Maybe get that kind of a leg up on a job or something?
Are you referring more to the construction side of it, or can you clarify that a little bit for me?
Oh, frankly, I don't know. I mean, I've never done that. I was thinking the construction side, but maybe there's more to it.
Well, there is, and we're identifying a lot of that as our board has grown, and we're identifying a lot of, because the first 3 years, a lot of it was just fell on me. But as far as experience and that side of it, you don't need any. I went down the first year that I went down there 8 years ago, going down with a construction background, and we started building the first one. And the gentleman who was leading that group, I said, well, where's this tool? Where's that? Where's the level? How do we plumb the walls? He says, you know, you're not in the States anymore. There's no codes. So, you know, but do the right thing. And, you know, when it comes to plumbing the walls, he says, take 3 steps back, close one eye, right or left, and nail it, you know, and it all works out. There is no right or wrong, no experience required. You will learn, figure it out, or we'll teach you on the site. And so it's just that's kind of it.
Well, but so to piggyback on the back of that is that there are local people who have participated in the building of the houses. In fact, 3 young men who you may have seen in one of the photographs with Joe on the back porch, they traveled. One of the guys borrowed his sister's car and they drove all the way from this town called Porus, and it was like, what, 45 minutes to an hour and a half drive, which by distance wasn't a lot, but by the roads, it was a lot. And they came twice to help build. So Joe has helped them learn skills that they would otherwise, and they were like so fast building, and they've shown up a bunch of times. So yeah, they do. There are people who show up and work.
Thank you for making this happen, Joe. This is amazing.
It's not just me by any means.
Mostly it's Joe. Cassandra.
Yes, thank you, Joe. So many thanks for what you do and how you're changing the world one little piece at a time. And also on my note, you know, I was sitting here thinking about, you know, like I said, it's energy healing for body, mind, and environment. And if anybody has any friends, family, or yourself who has chronic pain, illness, stress, insomnia, all of those things, you know, I can definitely help. And please, like I said, just call me and I'll do a little 30-minute consultation. It'll be amazing.
Wonderful. Cassandra, do you want to put a link to your website or how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great. Susan Rose. You're muted, hon. Oh, I muted you, I think.
Yeah, my chat box went up right over my unmute button, so I couldn't unmute myself. Thanks, Joe. It's so nice to hear so much more about the organization. I was following everything while y'all were in Jamaica, and so it was fun to see that and hear the story. So thank you very much for that. In terms of my ask for today, I don't really have a whole lot. I'm going to put a link in the chat box for scheduling a half-hour call. I would love to talk to the people that I have not really met here and learn more about you and get to know what everybody's doing, because there's some really cool stuff happening in this group. So that is my ask for today.
Wonderful. Other Susan. Oh, wait. There you go.
There we go. Oh, Joe, God bless you for what you're doing. What a great presentation. Thank you for sharing today. Kind of reaches right into the heart. So thank you for what you're doing. As far as an ask, I'm new to this. Really excited to be here. I'd like to reach out to members of the group, just find out a little bit more about what you do, where we can make connections. That's what networking is all about. So I look forward to doing that. Didn't do it this week because of this little silly head cold, but I do look forward to connecting with people and seeing where we can build those relationships and support each other as we all grow. It's really, really kind of important to me. So look forward to it. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. Margaret Martin. Mary Margaret Martin.
I knew I was going to be next. So actually, I have two things to share today, and one is a shout out to Sharon Edwards, who's one of our members, not here today. She has her project Pop Drop, where they collect a lot of goods and get gift cards and things like that. And her donation this month went to RCS Pinellas, which is provides food for our food bank. It provides some clothing and such for the domestic violence shelter where I'm involved with on the advisory committee and also facilitate a survivor group every Monday night. So she raised, let me look at it real quick. They brought in over $800 in food and toiletries, and Walmart gave them $210 in gift cards. And anyway, she came in and they did an awesome job from collecting all of that. And I wanted to thank her very much for that. The other thing I wanted to share with you, if you're interested in the Works in Hay House, they're doing a mystical mystical workshop kind of series this week, which is really pretty cool. I was listening to Carolyn Mace before I got on the call this morning. So check out Hay House if that's something that might be of interest to you, to learn even about tapping, all those kinds of things. So that's it from here. Thanks.
Thanks, Margaret. Mary Beth Decker.
I did it first try, unmuted. Yay me. Joe, that was really great. It's really hard to go back to business after this, I got to tell you. I remember when I was like just a small piece before I had traveled like to India, which was a shocker. Lady was doing yoga with us. It was somewhere, she came from a country in Africa. She says, you guys, you have pets. We don't have pets. We don't, you don't give food. Anyway, I thought, pets are a luxury? Holy crap. Well, and it was just a slow awakening. So thank you so much. I'm going to get to talk with a lady, Deborah, who has a radio show called Everyday Angels, and I'll be doing that on Wednesday night. So she's very interesting. So if anybody want to tap in and listen to that, that'd be a lot of fun to have you on. She takes callers, and so I assume we are going to talk to animals who are people who want us to talk to our animals. Wednesday night. So that's what I'm up to. So
That's
thank
awesome. Will you put that in the chat box? How to tune into that? That's awesome. Jennifer, do you have any asks or anything to share?
Well, like I said, I'm Jennifer Ressman, and I'm from Voyu. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. And so I'm a social and digital media marketer, and I always give away a free consultation as well. So if you know any realtors, even if they're just starting out, I love to work with newbies. So I like to coach them, and even do some of their back end stuff is great. So please let anybody know. And, Joe, I also wanted to ask you, you said you had a Facebook page. Do you guys do advertising looking for, new contributors and that kind of thing? Do you reach out in that direction?
We are changing. Simple answer is yes. But we are upping that. We've grown our Facebook page a lot, even just in the last 45 days. We're inviting individuals to join our, which we can get a link on, where you can join our email list to keep up with what's coming up. And so yeah, we're realtors are actually even somebody that's on our radar for.
Oh, I bet.
Growing our financial side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I bet you're in that industry. And you said you got volunteers and stuff. Do they come from America in that, in that industry? Like, I guess you don't need plumbers, but, contractors and that kind of stuff that ever come with you, did you say?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, there was a plumber who went along with us this year. We don't chase anyone away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, that end is very exciting. So just wanted to see if you were, diving into that end. I'm sure you can get a great response. Can you do you have your Facebook page over here on the chat? I'd love to.
I'll put it in just a sec. I've got to log into Facebook. Hold on. But go ahead. Joe, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
We're always looking for volunteers to help with that kind of stuff too. So.
Yeah. Let me know if there's any directions you need, or if you need any back end help or whatever.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, do you have any asks?
My ask for today would be join our Facebook page, like us, get on our email list. The other thing is that, things like this, I love to share this story with people. It is in my blood at this point, and it was a huge opportunity for me to be here with you today, and I really appreciate that. But I'll even say as much as if you know anyone or organizations that look for speakers to share stories such as this, I'm interested in those opportunities as well. So
wonderful. Thank you so much for being here, Joe. There are no words to say thank you for what you do, not only for the people of Jamaica, but for the people who go on the trips, because when you go, you come back, there's just no way you can look at life the same way. And it's just an incredible exponential appreciation for the things that we have, and then how little it takes for us to make a difference in someone else's life. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here. And thank you all of you for bearing with me being Jill today. I don't have a specific ask, but I would like to give a real big shout out to Nancy Linneruth. She's amazing. So I have worked with her for about 6 months, give or take a few months as we've stretched it out. And I had a situation where when I was in Jamaica, the very last day I lost my voice. I lost it for 3 weeks. I knew there was something about visibility because I was being visible with Creators of Hope. And then I had another situation, and man, oh man, in a 30-minute session, something that was never even in my conscious radar came up, and what a difference. You could actually hear my voice change as we tapped through it. So she's just incredible.
Yay, now you have to go out in the world and, spread the love there. And thank you, Debbie, for that.
So
But
you
yeah,
did
I mean, you're meant to be out there.
What was that?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You did that with the tapping
Yes.
process?
Yes.
I'm trying to convince my mom to work with Nancy, and she's a little resistant just to that. You know, how do you get her past that resistance? And you know, just trying. So
It's
thanks,
weird.
Nancy.
It is undeniably weird, but it works.
Yeah,
And as I said last time, you know, anyone who wants to try out tapping, I'll do a free 1-hour session with anyone in the group or your mother. And so if you convince her, that'd be cool.
It would be cool. Thank you.
It's really awesome. Well, thank you. And Connie Jo, we hope you feel better. Joe, we hope you feel better. And for those of you who couldn't be joining us in live today, check out all the wonderful things in the chat, and we'll see you next week. All right. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.